It's a real privilege to stand up here in front of all you sports people and to be able to acknowledge someone who has contributed so much. And I'm particularly pleased to be able to give this recipient the award. He's someone that I have worked with in my business through my education, and I know the work that he's done in sport. It's my great privilege to present this award to Tim Ward.
Here's Tim's brief summary, and it doesn't do it justice, but Angie will unpack it a little bit more. A competitive junior swimmer, Tim became involved in officiating 20 years ago as a current New Zealand referee and officials examiner for Southland, dedicating a huge amount of time supporting local meets. His mentorship and support has meant many officials have been able to undergo their own training without having to travel away. He was recognised by Swimming Southland with a Services Award in 2011, an Honours Award in 2018 and a Life Membership in 2019, and now he has an Invercargill City Council Services to Sport in 2025. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Tim Ward.
Tim, I'm going to take you back to the very beginning because you must have been dragged to the pool at a very young age.
Yeah, I was, and I think that's the cool thing about swimming is that it tends to start young for swimmers, and often it's just a preservation thing so that when you hit a lake or a sea or a river, you can sort of save yourself. And my father couldn't even swim a width, but my mother could swim all right. So, we had the Saturday mornings at St Mary's Swimming Club, and my two sisters and I, we were there. Dad was at home making pikelets so that we had something to have warm when we got back home. But that's also where we started some of the coaching involvement as well, that we were able enough swimmers, but also being in the water and sort of helping those that weren't quite so confident. And I think that's sort of flowing on now, and it's really cool. My daughter Sophie and my granddaughter Isla, they're in the pool doing their club coaching, and my son Alex had his first poolside experience there at Orca Club this week. So it sort of goes through family connections, I think it'd be fair to say. And when I look back, Dad's family were very heavily involved in sport. It was mainly rugby, but swimming was my main competitive sport through school. And swimming's a hard sport. It tends to be lonely. You spend lots of hours of looking at a black line at the bottom of the pool. It's not particularly social. You can't have a bit of a yarn along the way. So it does have a pretty limited life. I'd had enough by my second last year of high school, and then, like many of others, just had a complete break away, and it wasn't then until my children became involved, and I was just along as a parent, and as with most things, parents get roped in to do the officiating, and I had some really good role models as technical officials in front of me. Ladies who, Lynn Sutherland is one who definitely springs to mind, had officiated at international meets. I had no aspiration at all of doing any of that, happy enough to help whatever I could, Southland-wise.
But look at you now.
Did that answer the question?
Oh my goodness, yes, did it what? I do want to talk to you about what changes you've seen. It's a long time, from child all the way through. To me, swimming is you just, turn one over. I know it's not that, Tim, don't judge me. But what changes have you seen in the sport over your time?
I think the expectations of swimmers changes a lot, and as an official, my attitude has always been you're there to support and encourage the kids, because as a swimmer myself, I knew how much hard work had gone into it to get them to whatever level they were. So I think that the technical strokes themselves have probably changed a lot over the years. Some of the more basic strokes hasn't been much change, whereas others there's all sorts of experimentation and pushing the rules to figure out, and that's typically someone at the Olympics has tried that, so it filters down to Splash Palace and someone will be trying it here. So yes, there has been a lot of change. Hey, the Speedos were a lot briefer back in my day than what they were now. I wouldn't be wearing them, that's for sure. But, yeah.
Please take that image home, everyone.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Talk to us about being an examiner. How do you become one of these, and what's the impact on having one such as yourself in Southland?
I think what it does is support those people who, exactly like me, were along at the poolside because their children were there. And a lot of officials tend not to be swimmers, or they haven't got the background in that particular sport. So my role in the Swimming Southland role is very much to encourage those people not to be scared off from the poolside. It's to come along. It's quite methodical, as in, or systemised, as in the steps that you go through, the different types of qualifications that you have. And it really starts, here you are as a parent, as a timekeeper at the end of the pool, move on, be an inspector of turns, and sort of grows its way on from there. So probably my role as an examiner is I'm trying to encourage these people to know what the rules of the sport are, because we're not doing our swimmers any favours if we're not officiating appropriately. And then once they've built their confidence, go through their qualifications, it might only be a limited life for some, but it's really cool that they just work their way through. But essentially, as an examiner, my role, and it's changing, it's more now nationalised, but my role is still very much to support those who are volunteering some of their time.
Now, we started at the beginning with your mum. She was named the patron of the Orca Club, and in 2021, I believe you got the same honour.
Yeah, I was made patron of Swimming Southland, and I wondered why on earth I got that, because they tend to be really old people that are in those roles, and then I probably looked at my birth certificate and said, well, you might qualify. And it was a bit like one of the swim meets that I went along to, and it was actually the Southland Primary School champs, and Sophie and Lydia were swimming in it, and they were looking for a trophy that, because the meet had been sort of in abeyance for 30 years. I thought it was 20, but it was more than that. And I actually had the trophy from the last time that is awarded, and that does age you when you manage to go where to find it. But I thought it was 20 years, but there was at least one more decade on that.
Yeah, time flies. I think life memberships and patronage, I think that does age you slightly. She says from experience, by the way. How much time are you spending in the pool these days?
None.
Do you know what? As soon as I said that, his family down the front here, you wouldn't have heard this at the back, started chuckling. They're like, yeah, right, yeah. Actually,
we were lucky enough
Fiona,
to spend a wee bit of time in Fiji a month ago, and I really enjoyed the swimming there. But there's no chlorine involved. Yeah.
I have to ask, because we're in the room, your beautiful family is right here. Who do you need to acknowledge? What do you need to say?
Well, the first one I need to acknowledge is Sean Bellew.
Everyone does.
Personally, Sean funding thousands of swimmers every year to learn from picking up his opening comments.
I can attest to
thank you,
that
Sean.
dedication. That's absolute dedication.
But yeah, our family is very much sporting focused. There's not too much piano playing or singing ability in our family. But Fiona received one of these last year, and she thoroughly deserved it. I feel like a fraud sort of receiving it compared to what the likes of Fiona has done for sport over the years. So I think as a family group, sport is important to us. It's not overbearing or overwhelming. I think it's important just to have that balance of what's there. I'm a partner at BDO, so Greg did a great job sort of presenting our award earlier on, and so that's quite a busy job that I've got. So it is very much a balance thing, and I think as a family group, we can contribute whatever we can, but lots and lots of other people are doing exactly the same thing.
Well, for on a rare occasion, I'm going to disagree with you, Tim. You absolutely deserve this award. You and your beautiful family will have 2 on the mantelpiece now, which is lovely. So go and enjoy that. Ladies and gentlemen, Tim Ward.